You know what they don't tell you about being loved by the world? You start forgetting what it feels like to be understood by just one person. Every headline has my name in bold. Every photo of me has a million likes. They say things like legend, goat, machine. But when the lights go off and the world moves on to the next match, who checks if I'm okay? Everyone thinks they know me. The goals, the celebrations, the trophies, the records. But no one ever asked what I was carrying, not even when I smiled. And the truth is, I smiled even when I was breaking. I remember this press conference. We'd just won. I'd scored 2 goals. Everyone was buzzing. The journalists were already asking about the next fixture. The fans wanted a post. My agent wanted a statement. I gave them what they wanted, like I always do. But my voice, it felt like it was coming from somewhere else. Because just an hour before kickoff, I was sitting in the hospital room, holding my son for the first and last time. He was wrapped in the soft blue blanket. Tiny hands, closed eyes, still. And I remember thinking, why does the world still expect me to play like nothing happened? My partner and I, we were expecting twins, a boy and a girl. We had names picked out. The nursery was done. We even argued, playfully, over who they'd look like. There was this quiet excitement every day, every kick, every ultrasound. It felt like life was giving me something pure, something untouched by pressure or contracts or cameras. But then, one day, during a routine checkup, the nurse's face changed. That smile she always wore, it dropped. I remember the silence in the room, the way my partner squeezed my hand, the way I kept telling myself, it's fine, it's just a delay, a machine issue. But deep down, I knew. They told us our son wasn't going to make it. No explanation, just loss. We still had our daughter, but I never knew how to hold joy in one hand and heartbreak in the other. I showed up to training the next day because I didn't know what else to do. I thought, maybe if I keep moving, I won't feel it. But every pass, every drill, felt fake. One day, I just left. Mid-session, no words, no explanations. People called me arrogant, said I was unprofessional, immature. They had no idea I'd just buried my child. They didn't know I'd spent the night holding my partner while she cried so hard she couldn't breathe. They didn't see me pacing in the hallway, whispering prayers to a God I wasn't sure I believed in. They didn't know that my strength, the one everyone worshipped, it was breaking apart, piece by piece. You can prepare for big matches, for tough defenders, even for criticism, but you can't prepare to watch a heartbeat disappear from a monitor. You can't prepare to tell your other kids that their brother won't be coming home. And the thing is, I kept playing, I kept scoring, I kept showing up, because I didn't know what else to do. Because grief doesn't come with a manual. And because the world never pauses for pain, but every cheer from the crowd felt distant. Like it wasn't meant for me. Like they were celebrating a version of me that didn't exist anymore. I remember sitting in the locker room after a match. Everyone was laughing, joking, and I just sat there, holding my boots, thinking, why does it all feel so empty? Losing him, it changed how I saw everything. Football used to be my whole identity, but suddenly, I couldn't even remember why I cared about golden boots or Ballon d'Ors. What mattered was home, holding my daughter, checking in on my partner, sitting quietly with my thoughts, the ones I used to drown out with noise. I started noticing things I never had time for. The way my daughter smiled when I entered the room. The way my mother gently touched my arm when I looked distant. The way silence can scream louder than a stadium full of fans. I still played, still trained, still gave everything I had. But now, I wasn't chasing perfection. I was chasing peace. There was this one night. My daughter woke up crying. I rushed in, picked her up, held her against my chest. She fell asleep instantly. And for the first time in weeks, so did I. Not because everything was okay, but because, in that moment, I wasn't Cristiano Ronaldo. I was just dead. And that saved me. There were mornings I couldn't get out of bed. Not because I was tired, but because I didn't see the point. I'd stare at the wall, replay old memories, and wonder if I'd done something wrong. Was I being punished? Was I too focused on fame? Too obsessed with legacy? Was life reminding me what really mattered? I used to think strength was about winning, about pushing through, about never showing weakness. But I learned something far more powerful. Real strength is letting people in. It's saying, I'm not okay, and trusting someone will stay. It's crying and not apologizing for it. It's grieving in your own time, your own way, and still waking up the next day ready to try again. Football gave me everything, but it also demanded everything. Sometimes too much. Now, I don't play to prove anything. I play because I still love the game, but I live for the moments the cameras don't see, for the bedtime stories, the quiet breakfasts, the family walks, because records fade, but memories, the right ones, they last forever. So I'm not talking to you now as the footballer, not as the icon, not as the brand. I'm speaking to you as a man who's lost and learned how to live again. If you've ever worn a smile to hide a storm, if you've ever stayed silent because your pain felt too messy to share, if you've ever looked around and wondered if anyone sees the real you, then this story is yours too. We are all carrying something. Some scars just don't show up on skin, but they're there, and they matter. So tell me, when was the moment you felt completely alone, but showed up anyway? Leave a comment. Let someone else know they're not the only one feeling this way. Because sometimes, the strongest thing we can do is simply say, me too.